Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.
Happy Holi. I hope you had your and my favorite drink. And of course, I'm talking about coffee here. This show is called Coffee and Crypto. A very happy Holi. I'm Arun Singh, and today is going to be a chilled out show because it's festival time. But we'll be discussing something very serious in a chilled out way, and that serious thing is HyperVerse. But before that, I'll take you through the big stories of the week. Minister of State for Finance Pankaj Chaudhary said that the government is not planning to introduce a cryptocurrency that the Reserve Bank of India will regulate. Currently, cryptocurrencies are unregulated in India, as we all know. Now, this was a written reply to a question raised by MP Sanjay Singh in Rajya Sabha. Meanwhile, there's a bill currently pending on cryptocurrencies. We know that as well. The so-called bill, in its current form, can ban all private coins as a payment method in India, barring a few, to promote underlying technologies, even as it allows the RBI to set up an official digital currency. Moving ahead, as per reports from Central Board of Direct Taxation, that is CBDT, and the Enforcement Directorate, that's ED, this week, Indian tax authorities have identified 700 crypto transactions that haven't been declared in IT returns, with some transactions netting over 40 lakh rupees of profit. The ED Enforcement Directorate has also reportedly seized 135 crore rupees in 7 cases of money laundering using cryptocurrency. This as India's crypto regulation is on the way, but tax rules, remember, were announced in this year's Union Budget. 30% tax on virtual digital assets and the mandatory 1% tax deduction at source when selling cryptocurrency. Moving on to the next story, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has signed a virtual assets bill into law to legalize cryptocurrencies in the country. Now, according to Ukraine's Ministry of Digital Transformation, Zelensky signed this law that was passed by Ukraine's legislature in February. And we reported on that as well in our show Coffee and Crypto. We've also talked about how cryptocurrency is playing a big role in Ukraine-Russia crisis. Now, Ukraine has been receiving millions in crypto donations for military and humanitarian aid in its fight against the Russian invasion. And former Ukrainian, this is just a trivia, former Ukrainian boxer Vladimir Klitschko released an NFT to raise funds for the country. That's all for the big stories of the week. But now I want you to have a look at one tweet that I found very amusing and interesting. But I need my coffee, so for that we'll go to that table and I'll explain what HyperVerse is and what is this tweet that I'm talking about. So there's this tweet. Have a look at that. It will be on your screens. It says, "Wise people here, please tell me about HyperVerse. Is it a Ponzi?" And I was like, interesting. HyperVerse, Ponzi, two very important words. So that is what our explainer is. Let's begin with what is HyperVerse. What does the term really mean? So HyperVerse is a new metaverse that has just recently come to light. As the name suggests, it is a metaverse comprising of several virtual worlds. But what is HyperVerse crypto? Or let's say, why is cryptocurrency linked to HyperVerse? So that's another, project which is doing the rounds that we'll be putting our focus on. So according to the official website of HyperVerse Crypto, it is an online virtual world where users can explore, build and create monetized assets. In simple words, it is a game set in the year 2078-80 when humans have mastered interstellar travel. I mean, I'm quoting all of this from the website itself. Now, players, also known as Voyagers, can connect with friends, experience different cultures and lifestyles, and create tokenized items, start businesses, and explore the universe. Now, in this universe, or in this HyperVerse, players earn HVT, which is the native crypto of the world, by participating in various activities offered throughout the virtual world. But now comes the big question. Is it legit or is it a scam or Ponzi scheme, as many are claiming it to be? Now, several reports on the internet are doubting the legitimacy of the platform, as it is a rebranding of HyperFund. Now, remember, HyperFund, promoted as a multi-level marketing program, was on Indian government's radar as well, as it promised very high returns. Some Reddit posts warn people to stay away from it, as all the coins or tokens shown in green or progressing are created or operative only in their world. The official website has no information about the team behind the project, and experts find that a bit sketchy. Now, I also want you to have a look at one of their tweets, which says 400% rewards, unlimited commission. Now, few call it too good to be true offer, again raising concerns. Hyderabad police also alerted citizens about it being a Ponzi scheme. So, is it a Ponzi scheme or is it really legitimate? Now, there are few who also say that it is legit. But why? HyperVerse has a detailed, several pages long white paper and mentions a roadmap, so they have some clarity on that front. The creators are looking to release a beta version of the game this year. Now, I want to go to the discussion with our guests, and we'll discuss if it is a Ponzi scheme or if it is a legit scheme. We have with us Ajeet Khurana, crypto expert and founder, Genesis Network; Rohas Nagpal, author of the Crypto Playbook, chief blockchain architect, hybrid finance blockchain, that's Hi-Fi. Finally, I get some time to breathe and I'll have my sip. So over to you, gentlemen. I'll start with Rohas. You tell me, what is your take? Do you see it as a Ponzi scheme or it seems legit to you?
So, very interesting question. It's actually after you told me about it that I went through their website and I found the trailer of the game that you have mentioned.
Sure.
So, on the face of it, that looks like a project that is being built, and most projects are going to raise money before their product is ready, because that's what they would use the funding for. So, all that is fine. The only one red flag that I found is that when I went to register, it said that a referral code is mandatory. Now, that seems a little strange to me, because any site should be happy if people directly come and register, but this doesn't let you do that till you have a referral code. Other than that, I haven't seen any red flag yet.
Oh, I'm glad you tested that, but isn't that good that, you know, it is asking for a referral code? That means you can come only with a reference. I mean, it's a community.
But that's strange. That's strange, because any project would want new people joining and not just people coming from the existing community. And I've never seen that ever before in my life, that a project says only if you are coming from a referral are you allowed to create an account. Hence, it created a red flag.
Okay, and I would like to put you at spot as well, Mr. Khurana. What do you think? Is it a scam or is it legit?
So there are three red flags. Number one is that while it may not be in the white paper, but in several of their other communications, they have indicated that you may make a specific return by participating in this program, and they've given the number that you may make a 300% return. I personally cannot envisage a situation where a return of this type can be in any way guaranteed or indicated. Number two, this goes to something that Rohas said, but I'm expanding it or viewing it in a different fashion. It is not just a referral code. You know, there have been, like in Clubhouse, you needed an invitation code. Some Gmail, when it started, require an invitation code. But here, what it seems like, that the mechanism in which you earn money is by enrolling more members, which is actually a classic move by pyramid programs, which are otherwise also referred to as Ponzi schemes. There's a correlation between Ponzi and pyramid. They're not the same thing. So that is the second red flag. The third red flag is that the plan that they make, as in what will the HyperVerse be, what will the game be, by itself seems really good. But the focus at this point of time, because it seems to only be on member get member, which could be called a strategy. Hence, I'm not a judge to actually pronounce verdict, but I see red flags all around. I would be staying away from it.
I want to get into the multi-level marketing program aspect of this as well. But before that, Rohas, as you mentioned that it asks for a referral code. I mean, that's exactly what happens at Clubhouse as well. And you in a way try to create a community which is closed and there's a premium access. Would you give that benefit of doubt to this app or this project?
That's a good point. No, actually, I still wouldn't. See, Clubhouse or Gmail, they were very different projects. They were ready, but because they were not able to scale to a very large number of people, they wanted the numbers to grow slowly.
Sure.
But this is not like that. They are anyway saying that we are not ready. We don't have a beta even ready. That is going to come later this year. So it's just a matter of taking data from users who may then become investors or members. So no, I still see that it can't be compared to a Gmail or a Clubhouse kind of a system. That still remains the biggest flag. But unfortunately, I could not see the white paper. I have not been able to find it. So maybe that's why I couldn't comment. But as you mentioned that if there's no mention of the team, then that's a massive red flag for me, because why should the team be so anonymous?
Exactly. And now I also want to ask you, Rohas, why a multi-level marketing program so infamous in the crypto world?
So actually, multi-level marketing or pyramid schemes are illegal under the law in India. So RBI also has said that, and then we have the Consumer Protection Act, under which rules have been made which make it illegal. Because the problem with the pyramid approach is you only make money when you convince someone else to pay money. And then you create a layer of people, but as you go down the pyramid, the number of people starts to increase, and the people who come later almost always end up losing their money. And that's the reason in many countries, pyramid schemes outright are considered illegal.
And just to wrap this up, Mr. Khurana, what are your quick tips for someone who comes across projects like these? What are the checks that one should really follow?
It is impossible for any project to guarantee a very high return. I mean, simply that. So if somebody is giving you a very high number and is saying it is guaranteed, frankly, it's not going to happen. Number two is that if you are required to make money only when somebody else spends money, which is the Ponzi scheme approach, I think that also is bound to fail. You may think that you will escape by making profit and somebody else will make the loss, but that is how everybody loses their money. And finally, that thing about if it is too good to be true, it probably is actually right.
Okay, thank you so very much. Happy Holi to both of you once again. Thanks for joining and simplifying these things for us. So, you know, as I've read in multiple reports, and these two guests also pointed, it seems to be a scam or a Ponzi scheme. So be very, very careful there. Now it's time for a very little break, but all the stories creating buzz in the NFT world on the other side of the break. Keep watching Coffee and Crypto. You're watching Coffee and Crypto, and right in the beginning of the show, you heard me tell you about former Ukrainian boxer Vladimir Klitschko releasing an NFT to raise funds for his own country. I mean, NFT space is buzzing all the time. Every week there are news stories, and I've picked two of those news stories, and I'll be joined by guests leading those projects. So we'll talk about these projects one by one. First, let's talk about a film. It is a film and it's called Ilm, very bad punch, but actor Vishal Malhotra has come up with this first NFT funded film. You've seen Vishal as John in Hip Hip Hooray and Mambo in Ishq Vishk, and he's also been the host for Disney Hour. Now, coming back to Ilm, you buy a token and you become a producer. It is being sold on Ethereum via Web 3.0 called Let's Collect.live. It has economical gas fee. You can mint platinum, gold, silver and bronze for purchase. Some part of the proceedings will go to the daily wage workers of the film industry. On the other hand, you have IT major TechMahindra launching TechMVerse. It's metaverse practice to deliver interactive and immersive experiences in the metaverse for its customers. The project includes pervasive artificial intelligence, that's AI, blockchain, 5G, AR, that's augmented reality, VR, that's virtual reality, and quantum computing to build B2B use cases across sectors. Now, use cases includes a car dealership, dealerverse, a non-fungible token, middlemiss, virtual bank, meta bank, and a gaming center. We'll get into the details while we talk to our guests. So, very warm welcome to Vishal Malhotra, who's an actor, Rajesh Dudu, head of blockchain competency, TechMahindra. Happy Holi to both of you. Rajesh, with you first. Can you elaborate the use cases? I mean, it's really interesting that you've brought metaverse in your setup. If you can elaborate, what is the long-term plan and what are these use cases?
Yeah, thank you, Arun. Thanks for having me on the show. So basically at TechM, we deal with many of the global customers, and their end customers are demanding immersive experiences. So immersive experience is an experience where a person is not watching the transaction, but he wants to dictate the outcome. So it is all about being involved. And that's the experience that our global customers are looking for their end customers. And also the global customers are looking at providing a continuum of physical engagement and digital experiences. which is what happens in metaverse. So at TechM, we have taken on this particular project where we launched our metaverse offerings under the aegis called TechMVerse, where we would like to give complete immersive experiences to our global customers to cater to their end customers. Which would mean...
So if you can quote an example, I just want to decode this. If you can give me an example of how I as a customer will be benefited by one specific project, what would that be?
Yeah, absolutely. So for example, the car dealership that we are talking about, or the meta bank that we are talking about, a customer can, in the metaverse, they can go to a car dealership or a bank, get fully conversant in terms of the offerings that either the dealership has to offer or the bank has to offer, and the person can ask for, for example, if it is with regards to a bank, they can ask for an upgrade of a credit card, they can ask for an unsecured loan. And from a dealership perspective, it also brings in a different level of engagement with customers. For example, somebody is exploring a particular car model, and we noticed that the person had spent about 4 to 5 minutes on a particular car model. Then you push an NFT pertaining to the car model, and the person ends up buying that particular NFT. We know that that particular person is pretty much engaged with that particular car model or that particular brand. So it also gives us an opportunity to classify in terms of their engagement, whether it is a casual engagement or they are seriously involved. And it also helps us to qualify that particular lead into a warm lead or a cold lead. Okay. So like this, it's a combination of physical experiences and digital engagements.
Okay. Now let's go to the star who's shining absolutely in a bright way on your screens, Vishal. How did you come up with this project like Ilm, the first NFT funded film?
Firstly, happy Holi when I'm having my favorite drink, of course, coffee. Arun, I'm a huge fan of your work and congratulations. Thank you for having me here. Very quickly, well, Ilm was an idea which I was toying with for the last 3.5 months. It was generating in my mind. And I got a lovely team together in the form of an architect who's a tremendous coder called Rick Day and a lovely person who does contracting called Rat Labs. What we did was we created the NFTs in the form of tokens, and we decided that we're going to sell these NFTs, and the monies that come out of this on our Web3 site called letscollect.live is going to be utilized in actually making a live action film with an original soundtrack, which has been done by Samarth Swaroop, who's a composer. The idea was pretty simplistic. It's basically crowdfunding India's first NFT funded film. So that's the basic concept. And it's put two of my loves together. Filmmaking, of course, and my new love in NFTs.
And I'm glad that it gives power to the viewer as well, to the audience.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can be the producer, right, if you buy the token. And there are multiple categories. If you can list some benefits, let's say, of the topmost category, platinum, what benefits does that have? And then you can also mention about bronze as well, maybe.
So it's simplistic and beautiful in the same way. What happens is that when one purchases one of the NFTs, which is also called the token, one automatically gets a credit as a producer of this film. Now, I've been working as an actor for the last 27 years, and it always gives me a thrill when at the end of the film, I see the end scrolls and there's a credit when you see your name in it. And I feel that's amazing because that is what the first thing that the producer gets, because the person who collects the NFT becomes the producer. Besides this, we want to give them an overall experience. So we're going to be having a premiere in Mumbai once the film is ready, and we're going to invite, the media. I hope you all come. We're going to have celebrity friends who have been working with so many years in films. And we're going to invite these collectors as producers and giving them a whole 360 feel and experience. Besides this, the fact is that we've always wanted to give back to society. So thank you for mentioning the fact that the people who suffered the most from my film industry in this pandemic were the daily wage workers, the spot dadas, the lightmen, the dress dadas. And as in my other previous NFTs, I'm also going to give back to them and create employment. So our shoot has begun. We have employed more than 30 to 35 daily wage workers on a regular basis, and we're going to continue to give back to them. These are just a few of the benefits in India's first NFT funded film.
One quick question, I'm running out of time, but where are you going to premiere or let's say release this, in commercial multiplexes?
We haven't really decided the platform of release yet. We're keeping it a little hush-hush, all right? But first, we're going to come out with the trailer, the music release, and then finally the film. And we should be looking at around the first week April release for the same.
Okay, and one last quick question to Rajesh. Are you going to train your existing staff, or you will be hiring new staff for this project, the Metaverse project with Tech Mahindra?
It's a combination of both, Arun. If you look at the overall metaverse, and the skill sets that are required, there's a front end layer which is a presentation layer. There's a middle end layer which is a blockchain layer, and at the back end you have the device layer, right?
Sure.
And TechM operates in all these aspects. So it's a combination of the skill sets. So the approach is going to be a combined one. We have people who process those kind of skill sets, but there is a huge demand for these skill sets in the marketplace, both from the TechM perspective and also from an industry perspective. So we'll be taking a hybrid approach using an existing workforce as well as bringing up the new workforce up the learning curve.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us, and keep doing the good work that you do. A happy Holi once again. Well, that's all that we had on this show, but we'll be back next Friday. I'm Arun Singh. It's goodbye from my side on Coffee and Crypto.
Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.